Hi everyone, welcome to this presentation. So as you can see today I'm going to speak a bit about British food, some classic dishes for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, for special occasions, some classic dishes, some strange, weird dishes or foods that we eat, and plenty of images. So hopefully you'll learn a little bit about British food. So, what do you know about British food? I guess the most famous dish people probably think of is probably fish and chips. But there's much more. So let's have a look. First, we have English breakfast. So, this is like the typical breakfast, but people don't eat it every day. Maybe once a week, on the weekend, um, or even less often. It's very good breakfast when you have a hangover, when you're enguayado. But it's a typical English breakfast. So as you can see, we have sausages, bacon, tomatoes, toast, eggs, beans, and this thing here is called black pudding. We've got mushrooms as well. We've got black pudding, which is a bit like morcilla. So it's like, yeah, it's a type of, it's almost like a type of sausage, but like morcilla. So traditional English breakfast, normally had once a week or on the weekend or whatever. Okay, next we've got Sunday lunch. So the traditional Sunday lunch. Um, Again, is traditional Sunday lunch, but maybe nowadays people don't eat it every Sunday, every Sunday, every week, less often. But it's a traditional Sunday lunch. You've got your vegetables, carrots, peas, potatoes, always lots of potatoes, meat, so either lamb or beef or chicken, turkey. And then this sauce, which is gravy. It's like a meat sauce. And then these things, you can see here, these are called Yorkshire puddings. And here we see a form of Yorkshire pudding with sausages called toad in the hole. And Yorkshire puddings are a little, the recipe is similar to pancakes, but as you can see, they're a different shape. They're really good. Okay, I mentioned this one already. Fish and chips. It's a classic. So we've got fried fish. It's covered in a batter, like you cover the fish and then you fry it. And served with big chips, of course, and peas as well. It's a traditional accompaniment. And this is a classic dish. If you go to the coast, to the beach, it's common to eat fish and chips. Okay, next one. Curry. Curry is probably the national dish of the UK. It's the most popular dish because in the UK there's a big influence from India and other Asian countries. And so curry, which originally comes from India, is now the most popular food in Britain, the favourite kind of food of British people. So it's like either meat or vegetables covered in like a spicy sauce. So it's very spicy normally. And you eat it with rice or with breads. And it's very, very, very common to eat it. People love eating curry. Next we have pies. There's many different kinds of pies in the UK. A pie is like a dish that has something usually with pastry like this, or with potato, with something underneath. So we have shepherd's pie, which is this one, which is like meat, like beef and tomato and red wine. And then on top, this cover is mashed potatoes. The fish pie is similar to this one. Again, is potatoes. And underneath is fish and vegetables. And then the steak and kidney pie is this one. So we have meat and like a meat sauce with pastry. They're very popular pies, especially like when people go to watch a football match, for example, they'll often eat a pie at half time during the break. Similar to pies, different pastries. So pastry is this, what the pies are made from. This pastry here, pastry, pastry. So any type of food that has pastry, we call it a pastry. A pasty is specifically this type of food. It's a bit like an empanada. And pasties come from this area of the UK, Cornwall. So this is where pasties come from traditionally. And yeah, they're usually filled with meat, potato, onion, cheese, different kind of fillings. This pastry is a sausage roll. So you have a sausage covered in pastry. And then Greggs is the most famous shop for buying pastries. Different types of breads we have. We have muffins. So these are muffins, but not like blueberry muffins or chocolate muffins. These are savory muffins. So you eat them with cheese or butter. These are crumpets, a different type of savory food. You eat them with butter, with honey, with cheese. And these are scones, which are sweet. Scones are much sweeter than these two. They're almost like a little cake, and you eat them with jam and cream, or butter and jam. They're really good. These are very traditional for afternoon tea. Okay, different types of dessert. This is the most famous cake from the UK. It's a Victoria sponge. So it's cake, strawberries, cream, in different layers. So strawberries, cream, cake, strawberries, cream, cake, strawberries, cream, cake. Lots of layers. That's a Victoria sponge. Here we've got sticky toffee pudding, which is this is a bit like arequipe or dulce de leche. So it's like a cake covered in toffee sauce, caramel sauce. This cake is disgusting. Tastes like soap. It's not very nice. It's called Battenberg. This is a classic. It's a bit like apple pie, but it's called apple crumble. So it's like apples with cinnamon and sugar, and then on top is a crumble. So it's like made from. It's almost a bit like granola, but that's really good. And you eat it with ice cream or with cream. And then these are some of the different chocolate bars we have in the UK. This type of chocolate, dairy milk, is the most famous and sort of traditional. So drinks, English people, of course, are known for their tea, drinking tea, much more than coffee, drinking tea, or traditionally at least. And of course, in terms of alcoholic drinks, beer, different types of beer, gin, and whiskey. Whiskey is more popular in Scotland, and maybe gin more popular in England. England is also very famous Well, the UK is famous for its cheese. People love eating cheese. All different types of cheese. Some of it blue cheese, which is a bit like gorgonzola. That's like a bit moldy inside. The most famous type of cheese is like this one, which is cheddar. And especially at Christmas, it's very common to have like a plate of cheese like this after the meal. So at Christmas, you have your Christmas dinner, and then the cheese, and then dessert. So you have cheese as a separate course. And then some weird British food. So Marmite is like something you spread on toast. It's like a jam, but it's very salty and savoury, and yeah. Some people love it and some people hate it. Haggis is a Scottish food, which is a bit like Regina. It's like the stomach of a pig filled with spicy meat. And then this is a chip sandwich, very popular. When people go and get fish and chips, maybe they also get a chip sandwich or chip butty. And then this is a strange one as well, which is a Mars bar that's been deep fried, like fish and chips, but so the same batter, the same covering, but on a Mars bar instead. And these are eels in jelly. Also very weird. Okay, so that's some of the weird food. I'm going to leave this presentation here. Thanks for listening. I hope you learned something about English food and that you'll be able to try some English food sometime in the future.